Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the showdown between the Beastmen, who shall be led by Malagor the Dark Turkey, and the Skaven, who are going to be helmed by QUEEK Headtaker. So it's going to be quite a bit of fun seeing him in action. So as far as the build goes, here in the front line, we're in a partial Vanguard. So we're not going to be like balls deep in the Vanguard where we're right in front of the Skaven army, because I've done that a couple times. And what ends up happening is, well, the main reason for the Vanguard is to get close, shut down Rattling Gunners and Giselle. So I've done this a couple times, but then the Skaven player doesn't have any of those. He has Doom Wheels, he has Doom Flares, and they just run over my Vanguard super quick. And the rest of my army in the back just is, too slow to catch up. So I'm doing a little bit of a partial Vanguard here in the front. So we have 4 Gore Herds with shields, which are very good against Skaven. They'll lose to Storm Vermin or Elite Skaven infantry, but against most of the chaff, Skaven slaves, clan rats, against plague monks, they perform pretty well. And they also have shields, so they're a well-rounded, solid choice. But against this build, it's going to be a little bit tricky because Falcon has brought a lot of Storm Vermin, Doom Wheels. He also has a Warpfire Thrower. Did they used to say that before? Warpfire Thrower weapons teams? I feel like it used to just say Warpfire Thrower, but anyways, he does have a couple of those and Rat Ogre, so it's going to be a very aggressive, just grindy army. Granted, my Cygor is going to be dropping some bows here, hopefully doing some damage against the Council Guard, so we'll find out here in a moment. In the secondary line, I do have a bunch of the Ungor Raiders who are going to be going in, trying to take out Rat Ogres, help hit Abominations as more durable, large targets that are lightly armored. So we're going to hopefully get some value from those bad boys. In the back, we have a couple spears, a lot of bacon. So we got some, some meat. These guys are pretty good against Storm Vermin. They have good AP, a decent little charge bonus of 46, and they're dirt cheap. So using them to take out Storm Vermin, using them to push into the back line, they can, serve multiple purposes. So we're going to see how this bacon does. We do have the Eye of More Sleep, so Cygors have been buffed, although I don't know if the buff applies to the Eye of More Sleep. I'm pretty sure it does. They have a bigger HP pool, and yeah, just kind of want to try it out against Skaven. Just, Falcon and I were both experimenting with some new stuff here. So the Eye of More Sleep doing its thing. We do also have the Sons of Goros, as well as the Chaos Warhound. So these guys, they have good AP, a good charge bonus. I figured against Flayers and Doom Wheels, these guys would be pretty good. Of course, having the solid AP values. And yeah, we'll see how they do. They also have Guardian, so if my Lord does get in trouble, they can rush back and help. Chaos Warhounds, and on the flank, just in case he has some very, deep artillery back here, I wanted to have a couple Ungor Herds to kind of go back there and harass those guys. Most people just defend their artillery with like Skaven Slaves or Clan Rats with spears. So having Ungors to get back there and disrupt them is actually quite strong. That's pretty much it for my force. I do also have Malagor the Dark Omen in the forest. He has the Cygor summon, but I made a bit of a mistake here. My army is fully stacked, so I have a 20 stack, which means I can't summon until something dies, so there's not going to be any summons until the late game. It was a very big mistake. So if you guys are playing, make sure if you're going to be going for summons to leave one slot open for summons. So for Falcon's army, he does have the Doom Wheel here in the front line. It's going to be pretty elite, like I said. Storm Vermin, he does have the Council Guard who are taking some boulders to the face here. Storm Vermin, 2 groups of the Warpfire weapons teams, which is going to be incredibly cool to see those guys in action. Rat Ogres, QUEEK Headtaker, who apparently is one of his specialties here. He's going to be coming in, hunting down Morker, and yeah, he's actually really good at killing Morker with all of his debuffs here. Warlock Engineer with Death Frenzy as well as Warp Lightning, and that's pretty much it. So you can see the metagame maybe shifting away from relying on summons and trying out some of these other Lords of Magic, which I think is quite cool. So let's get the show on the road, guys, and see if we can fend off the Vermintide here. So in the front, you can see the Doom Wheel is going to be jumping in, getting some good damage against the Gore Herds, and I am going to be shooting it with some bows here, but the Rat Ogres are also going to be following up, doing some work. I do counter by charging the Harpies into the Warpfire weapons teams, the Warpfire Thrower weapons teams. Damn, that is a mouthful right there. And the Sons of Goros are going to be responding relatively quickly to chase down the Doom Wheel, so I know I need to kind of shut this bad boy down, so I'm going to be using that AP to do so. Now I do surge in some Gore Herds right here to attack a little bit and just kind of hold back this Vermintide, because I obviously have Cygors back here and value targets I want to protect. And we are able to get a little bit of burst here on top of the Doom Wheel. The Sons of Goros are hot on its tail, and they have done a couple of HP, or a couple hundred HP in damage. So happy about that trade, but nonetheless, still pretty fierce cockfight. We're also going to be getting the Bacon into the Rat, so this is a good trade. Baconators are very good against Storm Vermin. I believe Baconators have pretty good armor. Yeah, they have 90 armor. Storm Vermin have pretty poor AP, but they are going to Rampage, which means that other troops like QUEEK, and I believe it looks like his caster is here as well, so he's going to be able to win that fight, but hopefully they'll at least net some value. The Bacon on the other side is going to be charging into the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers. Hopefully they'll do some good work. And in the back, I do also have my Ungors, who are in deep Vanguard going in there. But the front line's a little bit of a scary situation. The Council Guard with Death Frenzy are a pretty powerful unit, and it looks like he did overcast it, so it's going to be hitting the Storm Vermin, it's going to be hitting the Rat Ogres, a lot of very powerful troops, and I do respond with a Vile Tide right there, trying to do some damage. But the Bacon in the front line, not working out as I thought it would. It looks like the front line of the Skaven is going to be busting through here, but it's not a big deal. I have some reserve troops, I have my Cygor in the back who can be quite helpful. And of course, the Sons of Goros over here are able to break these Clan Rats and allow this other Gore Herd to push forward. And we also got about almost half the HP off the Doom Wheel. So some pretty back and forth trades. But the Warfire weapons teams are going to be unleashing into the Razor Gore Herds, and I believe they do have a leadership penalty, which is pretty good against Beastmen. So even if not for the damage, they are able to kind of tank the leadership and rampage these Baconators pretty quickly. And all my Ungors are trying to fall back right now. You can see the Cygor is going to be dropping some bombs, and a Vile Tide is going to be going down as well. It doesn't do too much damage, but it looks like it does kind of halt the advance a little bit. But the Raiders, have been able to do some work against Rat Ogres. You can see across the board they've taken a little bit of damage here, but the bounce power is certainly in the favor of the Skaven in this very fierce cockfight. And remember, this is post-patch, so the Skaven have received nerfs to Jezzails and Doomflayers and things like that. Granted, Falcon isn't really using any of those. So the Bacon is going to be coming back, and we also have the Eye of Morsleep here. The Eye of Morsleep does cause terror, so if we can get a big terror out here and free up some of my guns, I'll be feeling pretty good about that. QUEEK is also on the hunt. He's hunting for that turkey right now. He's coming for that Thanksgiving special. The trophy heads has been popped, but the Sons of Goros are going to be charging in. They will punt the rats back, and also, you know, QUEEK will take some damage. He's fairly heavily armored, but Sons of Goros have a really good charge bonus, and they also have good AP. So you can see QUEEK is taking a little bit of damage, which I'm quite happy about. On that note, we're also going to be summoning another Cygor. We really need some meat to kind of hold this advance because my Ungors, you know, they're not in the happiest situation right there. So Viletide is going to be going down on the Storm Vermin, trying to get some damage. A very good Warp Lightning here from Falcon is going to be getting dropped on the Sons of Goros, as well as the Chaos Warhounds. And we're just trying our best to kind of hold back the tide. The Council Guard Storm Vermin are going to be fighting here against some very tattered Bacon. And also you can see here that the Eye of Morsleep is going to be fighting. And he's going to be stomping the yard. He's pretty good at melee. He does have 52 melee attack and can do some work. And in the back, we do have the Razorgore Herds, and they were able to actually finish off the Warpfire weapons teams here. So that is going to be quite good. Now we're going to be surging across the battlefield to get some of these, because to get back in this game, I really need to clean up this back line to try and get some, you know, value in the bounce of power. And, you know, as the Beastmen armies usually are, as well as Skaven, there's always going to be troops kind of coming back in. Malagor is going to be fighting in combat. He does have some Gore Herds who are going to be helping him. And Gore Herds can put a bit of hurt here on the Rat Ogres. And I was also able to get some Ungors back to take some pot shots here at the Rat Ogres. The Eye of Morsleep's going to be anchoring the front line. I had to basically use my Cygors to fight. But again, Cygors have been buffed in terms of their melee prowess and their HP, so they're going to be a little bit better for fighting here in the front line. And another Viletide is going to be going down, blasting all those rats, although I feel like it doesn't do much damage against armor. I felt like all game I was landing pretty good ones, but nonetheless, it didn't do too much. So it's one of my first times using that ability in some time. In the back, the Doom Wheel is going to be chasing off my Ungors and other troops like that, so I will be using the Sons of Goros to kind of try and pin those guys in place. But of course, it causes terror, and Sons of Goros are not immune to psychology while their frenzy is gone. So they are going to be getting broken. Granted, they could have done some work and maybe even finished it if they kept fighting, but alas, today is not that day, says the God of Death. So over here, the Ungor Herds are trying to get on the Warpfire weapons teams. It looks like some of the Baconators were able to get over there. The Razorgores did some decent damage, but the Warpfire weapons teams are back online, and they actually have 53 kills, which isn't bad, but the Cygors are starting to buckle and run. You can see the Eye of Morsleep and company are just going to be falling back here. I hesitate to call it falling back. It's more like just being chased off by the Council Guard, but the Council Guard with Death Frenzy makes them pretty scary. I mean, they already have good defensive stats, so giving them that melee attack is very, very powerful. And from here, you can see, you know, Malagor is going to be fighting in the pits. So very well played to Falcon. It was a fun game. You know, both of us were trying out some new stuff, and he made pretty good use of those Warpfire weapons teams. And I really like his QUEEK play with the Death Frenzy to kind of buff up the Elite Storm Vermin. That makes him pretty damn, you know, aggressive. And kind of the history of playing against Skaven, it was a little bit tricky to go Elite, right? Like, even against contemporary Skaven, I always felt like going Bestigors and Elite troops against Skaven was going to be a disaster, because Rat Ogres, Doom Wheels, Plague Furnaces, Doom Flayers, you know, weapons teams focusing them down. But that's kind of what I needed here, to be honest. They would have been very durable against Warpfire weapons teams. They would have just beaten the brakes off Storm Vermin and done well against the Council Guard. But, you know, it's something that it's a little bit of a mind game matchup here. So I think maybe mixing in a couple of Elite Infantry might be a good choice. The one thing I did really like about my build was the Cygor. The Cygor was able to get some good damage against the Storm Vermin, and had it been able to hold the front line in that Vanguard a little bit longer, the Cygor would have been able to get much more value. Also, not having the second Cygor in the beginning was a pretty big issue. I really was kind of relying on that for my anti-heavy, and I just didn't have it until the very late game, at which point it was already compromised. So that was a bit of a mistake, but nonetheless, Falcon, I think even had I gotten that Cygor off, he would have won regardless. I think that his build was pretty solid, his execution was good, and yeah, the Storm Vermin did some really good work, and I just didn't have preparation for it. I mean, my Archer sucked against them, the Baconators were quickly beaten down by the Rat Ogres, my front line was run over by the Doom Wheels and the Storm Vermin. It was tough, for sure. So this build is more designed around weapons teams, like facing off against Rattling Gunners and Jezzails and things like that, because basically they're going to be using chaff in the front more often than not if they have weapons teams. So the Gore Herds collapse, the Ungors come in the back, the Raiders are able to shoot down their weapons teams with the stock mechanic, Harpies get in there, Baconators are able to kind of pin up Doom Flayers. But in this case, he had a really cool, very well thought out build, and obviously, you know, he even memed a little bit. I still think that Warfare weapons teams suck, you know, but he was able to make them work. Obviously, he's a very good player, so he can pull that off. But for anyone who's just learning the game, I still think that they're a little bit of a weak unit. Like Rattling Guns would have just been way better, for example. But yeah, that was pretty badass. It was a cool build. I really like the Death Frenzy and the QUEEK Head Taker. So very well played to Falcon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Please make sure to check him out over on his Twitch channel. And on that note, guys, we're going to go take a look at a build that I think would be a little bit more well-rounded against the new and improved Skaven. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to jump over here to the custom battles, where we will find the glorious Skaven awaiting us. So Skaven, and yes, where are they? Yes, they're right here. So no, not Skaven, Beastmen. We're looking at Beastmen. What am I talking about? So I think that, you know, Malagor's fine and all, but I think having the Chaos Spawn to kind of hold that front line is going to be even more valuable. So I wanted to try him out and see how the Vile Tide and some of those other spells do, but it just didn't feel like it was worth it. So going with Morkur, he's tough to snipe. Yeah, QUEEK can beat him, but you're going to be able to kind of run away and, you know, play it safe. I still think Gorehurts with shields are a good choice, because if they do go with gun-heavy armies, it's going to be pretty necessary. From here, I would probably mix in a couple Bestigors. I think having 2 of those bad boys is going to be pretty good. I would get some Raiders just in case, you know. And now that you have some Bestigors, your front line is going to be holding a little bit better. From here, I mean, Korok's Man-Rippers are decent. They might be an okay choice. It's a little bit hard to say. I really do like the Eye of Moorsleeve, and from there, I still think a couple Ungors and like Deep Vanguard is pretty good, but let's see what caster we want to get. Manticore summons have been nerfed pretty bad, so I wouldn't rely on those as much. Probably going to go with Death. Getting Spirit Leech on the Skaven Lords and characters and Fated Butte on the Storm Vermin is always going to be pretty good, so we'll get the Jagged Dagger as well. So far, everything's looking pretty good here. We do, of course, need something to stop the, you know, the wheels and things like that, so I think getting a couple Baconators is going to be fine, and from here, we probably want to get some of them, as well as some Hounds. So a build like this, I think, would be a little bit better. I think it's going to be safer. It has a little bit more punch in the front line to hold back Storm Vermin. You have some mass with the Centaurs plus the Razorgore herds to kind of hold things down. And yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I really do like the Cygor. I think that's going to be something that's nice. So again, well played to Falcon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Beastmen vs. Skaven showdown, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.